Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans. What we do around here is we bring about conversations on a variety of topics: social, spiritual, emotional, logical, relational, and professional. And we do that in a coaching paradigm. If you're looking for a coach to get past your fear, which is the topic of today's video, or today's audio, then you can definitely get to a better place in the end when you deal with these fears. And um, you know, there's about 6 or 8 things I want to talk about here. The first fear that people have is fear of leadership. Look, just because you're going to lead doesn't mean you need to know everything in order to be a good leader. Sometimes the best leaders in the world understand how to surround themselves with people that can give them answers to things they don't know. Other times the best leaders are the people that can delegate, and they pay attention to what they're good at. They ignore the things or delegate the things they're bad at, and or acknowledge if they are not so good at something. The more we're able to do that, the more we're able to get to a better place within that process, the easier it becomes to acknowledge becoming a leader that can be successful without burnout. The next is finding your pattern. What I mean by that is acknowledge the good patterns, the things you do well, acknowledge the things you can do on autopilot. Those are the things that you put towards any place in the day, or maybe early in the day if you need extra energy, or late in the day if you know you can do it on autopilot. But know where your patterns are. Know where your patterns of negative thoughts are as well, so that when you begin to go into one, and your brain will give you about 3, sometimes 4 chances every minute to kind of shift a thought and create a linking thought that allows you to make positive changes. When you use those times well, when you look at how you're thinking and look at the pattern of, hey, this is leading me in a negative place. When I went here before inside myself, it didn't end well. When you do that consistently, things go really well. Now, having a long-term plan that is both visioned and flexible is important. Visioned means you know where you want to get to and you're not willing to take no for an answer as far as maybe it's paying off your house, maybe it's getting more serious about your relationship, or time with your kids, or time with your friends, or moving your career in a positive direction. But also being adaptable through that process. If you think there's only one way to get somewhere, if you think there's only one belief system, politically, religiously, or whatever, that's going to get you somewhere, and you can't learn something, you've already made your long term plan so much harder on yourself by default. Because the less flexible you are, the more chances you have to fail yourself and to connect with others by not being willing to kind of flex and look at things from multiple levels. Ask for help, but don't rely on help. Now, here's an interesting thing: ask for help. Build relationships that will be beneficial and helpful to you. But at the same time, don't let other people helping you be the definition of who you believe you should be. Don't let other people helping you be the focal point of how you get things done. Because if somebody pulls out on you, then you know how to recover. Whereas if you're relying on their help as the only way you're going to get things done, and then they don't help you, you're going to fall apart. You're going to lose time. You're going to lose energy. You're going to lose hope. And all of a sudden, you're going to get to a place where you are in a negative space more often than not. And that is a waste of energy, waste of time, and doesn't go very well. The next thing is people have difficulty with moral boundaries. So, moral boundaries are boundaries of things that matter to you from a moral perspective that you're not willing to change. Know what yours are. Know what your boundaries are. Be willing to lose people over your boundaries. So if you know that if someone hits you, that you'd never go back into that situation, but then you're weak because you've been manipulated or abused in the past, that's a moral boundary. Care more about your moral boundaries than you do about pleasing others. Because oftentimes what happens is when we care about pleasing others more than our moral boundaries, we will allow people to push us to places we normally wouldn't go. The next is finding and keeping motivation. Here's Two truths about motivation. You have to constantly search for it, meaning discipline yourself at least a little bit of every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, to find things that will re-spark you and remotivate you. Make that part of your daily plan, because if it's part of your daily plan, you'll find something that picks you up on the days you really need it, and you'll stay driven on the days you really don't need it. If it becomes part of your daily plan, then you won't have an excuse when you don't feel like doing something, and you won't lose, longer spans of time, longer days in time, and ultimately you won't get lost in the long run. The next is focus on balance, physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual balance. So feel all things, positive and negative emotions. Physical balance, take time to exercise and time to rest. Mental balance, learn but teach, meaning at some point somebody is going to need to know something you already know. Take the time to teach them because someone taught you. It's circular. It's roundabout in the circle. And so spiritual balance, forgive yourself but be willing to be grateful. When you search for balance, and balance is the center of what you're trying to accomplish, your life becomes a whole lot simpler. The last one is find and live for your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What you do does not matter nearly as much as your why. It never has, it never will, it can't. Because your why is tied to your motivation. When you've lost your why, when you don't know why you're doing something, when you feel like what you're doing doesn't matter or won't pay off, you're going to check out on yourself, you're going to check out on your project, and you're going to check out on people that might be counting on you. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.